Do you feel overwhelmed about starting a blog? Well, you're not alone. Starting any type of blog or website can seem stressful whenever you're just starting out, but it doesn't have to be. And that's why I created this video, to help you plan and prep for the launch of your new blog. So stick around because I'm about to give you 15 things to think about before you share your passion with the world and start a blog. Hi, I'm Ben from blogwithben.com, and welcome to this video on 15 things to think about before starting a blog. And as I mentioned in the intro, starting a blog from scratch can seem stressful, especially whenever you're brand new to blogging. I like to compare starting a blog to like drinking from a fire hose. It seems like there is so much information coming at you a million miles an hour, and at times you just don't know where to start. At least that's how I felt whenever I first started my blog, and that's why I wanted to create this video, to hopefully help alleviate some of the stress and give you a strategic plan to help you better prepare for the launch of your new blog. Now, before we get started, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am glad you found me. Here you'll find free, full-length, step-by-step tutorials on how to build, grow, and monetize WordPress blogs. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you would subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. That way you could stay up to date with all the videos that come out in the future. I would also love it if you would subscribe to my mailing list. That way you could gain access to my free ebook, The Blog Starter Kit. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. All right, so for this video, I wanted to try something new. Instead of the step-by-step tutorial format that I typically do, I wanted to make this more of a one-on-one, face-to-face coaching kind of video. So if you like this new format, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to create more videos like this in the future. Okay, so you've made the decision to start your blog. Congrats, that's a huge step. It takes a ton of courage to put yourself out there, so I commend you for that. But before you jump in, there are 15 things that I want you to think about before you publish your very first blog post. And as we go through this list, you may find that you're already doing some of these recommendations, or you may be past the particular phase of your blog that we're discussing. If that's the case, that's great. It means you're well on your way. But it never hurts to review, consider, and plan for the launch of your blog. Also, throughout this video, there will be some tools and resources that I recommend. Please know that everything that I do recommend, I have used and tested extensively. I wouldn't recommend something otherwise. Additionally, I've created a Google Doc that outlines all of these resources in the video that you can easily access in the show notes below the video. Just click on the link titled Resources. Okay, with that being said, let's get started. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to give you 15 things to think about one by one, but I'm also going to give you some questions to ask yourself, as well as my recommendations for how you should tackle each one. So the first thing to think about is your platform. And what I mean by this is, how are you going to structure your blog? I'm sure you found that there's more than one way to start a blog. However, from my personal experience and the way that I teach, the best way to start a blog is with a self-hosted WordPress.org blog. And what does this mean exactly? Well, self-hosted means that you're essentially responsible for providing web hosting for your blog. And that's done through a third-party web hosting company. Now, don't worry, you don't have to have your own servers or set up your own network. You just pay a small monthly fee to the web hosting company, and then you get access to all of their resources to help you get online. Plus, self-hosted blog allows you to retain 100% control of your blog. This means you have creative control, financial control, marketing control, and so on. You have 100% control over every aspect of your blog, which means you get to keep 100% of the earnings. Then the second piece to this is WordPress.org blogging software. Now, this is an open source content management system that allows you to easily and quickly create, edit, and publish content on the internet. Now, you have a ton of choices when it comes to facilitating a self-hosted WordPress.org blog, but my top recommendation is to use Bluehost web hosting. They actually have a partnership with WordPress.org, and they've really streamlined the entire process. Everything from getting web hosting to setting up your domain and domain privacy to automatically installing WordPress, securing your site from hackers, and much, much more. Bluehost provides a ton of value to new WordPress bloggers, and I've been using and recommending their web hosting for years. So if you haven't done so already, check out my Bluehost affiliate link in the show notes below this video. All Blog with Ben viewers get exclusive pricing, and you can begin to build your digital platform for only $2.95 per month. All right, moving on to the second thing to think about, and that is your domain name. So have you decided on a domain for your blog? One of the most important things you'll do when you start a blog is choose a domain name. This is an essential yet sometimes overlooked step in the blogging process. And choosing the right domain name also has a major impact on your branding efforts and SEO. Your domain name tells people and search engines how to get to your blog, and that's why it's important to choose a domain that's SEO friendly and easy to promote. So let me give you some quick tips on choosing your domain if you haven't done so already. So first, you'll want to check the history of the domain. You don't want to buy one that's been used and abused by spammers. So do your research, make sure the domain has a clean history, and the way that I recommend doing that is using the Internet Archive Wayback Machine to check the history of the domain. It's a free service, safe to use, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Next, you'll want to be sure and choose a top-level domain. For example, .com, .org, .net, .gov, those are all top-level domains, and these domain extensions are widely accepted and easily remembered. You'll also want to keep your domain somewhat short. I recommend that a domain name be about 1 to 3 words in length and no more than 20 characters. This makes it easy to say, remember, and share. And speaking of remembering, you'll want to try and make your domain memorable. Avoid using hyphens and numbers in your domain, and check for copyright and trademark issues. You'll want to make sure that you aren't purchasing a domain name that's already being used as a business or product. The last thing you want are lawyers coming after you just for starting a blog. So you can check for copyright info at copyright.gov/records. And again, I'll put that link in the show notes as well. Next, avoid using slang in your domain. This can typically cause confusion and can easily become outdated over time. And finally, include keywords. When you use keywords within your domain, you're making it easier for your visitors to find you. Plus, this can improve your search engine ranking. All right, so I know we kind of went down a domain rabbit hole there, but it's important. I also want to mention that whenever you purchase your web hosting from Bluehost, they give you a free domain for a year. It's pretty cool. Okay, moving on to the third thing to think about, and that is your topic. So, do you know what you're going to blog about? Do you know your niche? Have you chosen your topic? Before you type the very first letter of your very first blog post, it's important to have a path laid out for what you're going to blog about. Plus, if you want your readers to take you seriously, you'll need to have a well-rounded understanding of what you're blogging about and promoting to your audience. Take a look at this Venn diagram real quick. Your blog topic can usually be found where your passion and knowledge of a subject meet. So the blue circle represents your passion for a particular topic, and the gray circle represents your knowledge of that topic. Then where they intersect is where you'll find your topic. Your blog topic should be a mix of something that you're passionate about, yet have a strong understanding of as well. Next, the fourth thing you'll want to think about is your target audience. So this goes hand in hand with your blog topic, but you need to ask yourself, who is the ideal type of person that will be consuming your content? Do you have an intimate understanding of their needs, wants, and desires? If not, I recommend doing some quick research. Before you put a ton of time and effort into blogging, you'll want to make sure that it's worth your time and that there's an audience for it. Now, you can do a quick Google search of your topic to see if a lot of people are searching for it, but this is just a preliminary research tactic. You can also use Google Trends to get a more in-depth understanding of your topic and audience. This will give you some insight as to whether or not there's even a market for your topic. And Google Trends, which is what you're looking at right now, is an other free resource and is something that I highly recommend using to zero in on your audience. And again, I'll put a link to this in the show notes. Then once you've picked your topic and you've found your target audience, you'll want to really drill down and come up with a sample persona of your target audience. And as I said, this is a popular market research tactic that's used by millions of businesses around the world, and it can help you pinpoint some specific characteristics of your audience. Now, a sample persona, sometimes referred to as an avatar or buyer persona, is a holistic view of the type of person that's consuming your content. Now, this isn't just their age and demographics. A sample persona goes much deeper and helps you truly understand the needs and wants of your audience. This ultimately allows you to better communicate with the people who are consuming your content and the people you're ultimately marketing to. Now, there are a handful of ways to go about gathering this information, but HubSpot offers an awesome and free resource that helps you develop a sample persona with their sample persona tool. And again, put a link to it in the show notes, but this helps you create a sample persona that you can use to become a better blogger. All right, the fifth thing you should think about is your value proposition. So, how are you delivering value to your audience? You need to think about how your content is going to help other people get what they want, plain and simple. This is why it's important to know your audience and to understand their needs and wants. Doing so will help you hone in on your value proposition. But if all else fails and you're still struggling to determine your value prop, just try to help your audience solve a problem through your content. If you can connect the value of your content to your audience's problem, the rest will fall into place. All right, moving on to the sixth thing to think about, design and branding. So before you start your blog, you'll need to think about what the layout of your site is going to look like. Do you know what images you're going to use? Do you have a logo or brand guidelines in place? Luckily, if you follow my blogging tutorials, you don't have to put too much thought into design. And that's because the WordPress.org themes that I use and recommend are professionally designed and will give you a leg up against the competition because their layouts are some of the most popular and well-made in the industry. And when it comes to branding though, that's a different story. Yes, WordPress makes it super simple to implement your brand's colors and logos, but you ultimately have to decide on what those colors will be and design a logo if you're going to use a logo. Now, if you're starting to sweat because you don't think you have the graphic design chops to create your brand or logo, don't worry. Nowadays, you can create your own logo super quick by using a free website called canva.com. I use it for all of my design needs now, and it has saved me a ton of time and money when it comes to the design aspect of my blogging projects. Also, whenever you're thinking about your brand's colors, there are a lot of things to consider, like your blog's essence and how people respond to certain colors, what your competition's doing, etc. I know it's a lot just to think about that for colors, but to help you along, there is a great article that I found on canva.com that I'll link to in the show notes, and it's a great resource for determining your blog's color palette. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't decided on what colors you're going to use for your blog's brand. All right, moving on to the seventh thing to think about, and that is email marketing. So, are you building an email list? Will you have an opt-in form on your blog? Hopefully you answered yes to both of those questions, because email marketing is one of the best ways to not only grow your audience, but build a strong relationship with them as well. If you're new to the concept, here are the basics. You create an opt-in form using a free plugin like WP Forms Lite, and you connect it to an email marketing platform like Constant Contact. You then add that opt-in form to various locations on your blog, and then once your blog's visitors fill out that opt-in form, their information is stored in Constant Contact, and you'll be able to begin your email marketing relationship with them via professional email marketing software. I've been a customer of Constant Contact for quite a while now, and I absolutely love their platform and free integration with WP Forms. And that's one of the main reasons why I use them and why I recommend them. And you may be asking yourself, why do I need email marketing software? Why can't I just use my normal email provider like Gmail? Well, email marketing software like Constant Contact allows you to do so many more things while also staying compliant with the CAN-SPAM Act. Now, as you can see with Constant Contact versus Gmail, you have a ton more features with Constant Contact that will allow you to effectively collect, grow, and market to your audience, because that's what this is all about. The goal here is to grow your email list so that you can expand your blog's reach and have a larger audience to monetize. They always say the money's in the list, and Constant Contact gives you everything you need to know to effectively grow your email list. Plus, Constant Contact is offering a 60-day free trial with no credit card required. If you're interested in learning more, I've created an in-depth, step-by-step video tutorial that walks you through how to set up Constant Contact and build your email list. You can test drive the email marketing platform for 2 whole months to see if it's a good fit for you and see that if it's a good fit for your audience. And if you want to, visit the Constant Contact link in the show notes to check it out. Either way, having an email marketing strategy in place and a way to collect your email addresses on your blog, that's key to your success online as a blogger. All right, next, I want you to think about SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. Do you have an SEO strategy? Have you researched keywords within your niche? Thankfully, WordPress has a great plugin called the Yoast SEO plugin that can help you do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the technical aspects of your blog's SEO and keyword research. I really can't say this enough, but please install and activate the Yoast SEO plugin whenever you start building your blog. It has been extremely instrumental in the success of my blog's SEO, and it's helped me land on the first page of Google, Bing, and Yahoo's search results. Plus, it's free, easy to use. It can help any sized blog find success with SEO. I also have an in-depth tutorial that walks you through the Yoast SEO plugin, shows you how to implement it on a WordPress blog. Once again, I'll link to that in the show notes. And then in terms of keywords, having success with SEO depends heavily on keywords. For starters, the keywords within your content tell the search engines what your blog posts are about, but are also the words and phrases that people are searching for whenever they use the search engines. And having a focused keyword strategy ultimately helps the search engines connect people with your blog. So before you start writing your next blog post, have a keyword or keyword phrase in mind. Then as you begin to write, try to structure your content around that keyword. And if you need some help coming up with keywords, I recommend using the Google Keyword Planner. This is branded as a free AdWords tool, but this resource is still very useful for blogging. You can search for keyword ideas, and you can have a list of keywords and see how they might perform, or even create a new keyword list by multiplying several lists of keywords together. And again, I'll put a link to this in the show notes. But I use it all the time, highly recommend it. All right, moving on to social media. So, do you have a social media strategy? Have you created social media accounts specifically for your blog? You want to think about how you're going to grow your blog's audience on social before you launch. It's a good idea to set these accounts up before you launch as well. You could still grow your audience and promote the launch to that following before you even publish your first blog post. And I recommend starting small. And what I mean by this is that you don't want to spread yourself thin by joining a million social networks. So keep it simple and start out with 2 or 3 accounts for your blog. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are the 3 that I recommend that you start out with. And they're obviously all 3 very popular and offer a way for you to significantly increase your blog's audience. Now, when it comes to social strategy, you'll obviously want to share your content on your social media channels every time you publish a new blog post or video, and you'll want to use hashtags that are relevant to your industry and niche. You also want to give your audience a way to join your networks and share your content through your blog, and this can be done through WordPress. Now, some themes have these social sharing features baked in, like the blog stream theme, and that's one that I use in my upcoming video. However, sometimes you'll need to leverage a plugin like the Simple Social Share plugin and the Shared Counts plugin. Both of these are free tools, and they allow you to add social followings and social sharing options on your WordPress blog. And yes, I will link to both of these plugins in the show notes. All right, the 10th thing to think about. Will you be using paid advertising to promote your content? So you need to think about advertising. This may come later on in your blogging journey, but it's still something to consider. Using a paid service like Google AdWords is a great way to get your content in front of thousands, if not millions of eyeballs for a small fee and drive traffic to your opt-in forms and your blog content. You can also have paid campaigns on social media where you pay a little money to have your blog posts or videos shown to audiences with similar interests. Again, there is a cost associated with these campaigns, so you'll want to budget accordingly, but they can have a positive impact on your ROI and can drive high quality traffic that converts to your content. That's important. Now, if you're just starting out, I recommend boosting some posts on your social channels to get a feel for how paid advertising works. It can seem complicated whenever you're just starting out, but it does become somewhat intuitive as you get used to it. Just start small and be sure to track your results to see what's working and what's not working. The next thing to think about is analytics. So, how are you going to track and measure web traffic to your blog? Now, I'm not going to lie. For me, this was one of the most frustrating things to learn when I was just starting out. And I think that's because analytics is sometimes a very dry subject. It's numbers heavy and it's filled with a lot of data and spreadsheets. Plus, it's somewhat technical and there's a steep learning curve to it as well. But this shouldn't deter you from setting up some sort of analytics tracking on your blog. And I use and recommend Google Analytics. This is a free web analytics service offered by Google that tracks and reports website traffic. It can help you identify trends and patterns in how your visitors are engaging with your blog. Features that they have are data collection, analysis, monitoring, reporting, integration, and a lot of other things. And again, it may seem like a lot whenever you're just starting out, but there are some great resources out there to help you learn the basics and get it set up on your WordPress blog. So check out Google Analytics Academy and their GA for beginners. It's a free course and it'll show you how to create an account, implement tracking codes, set up data filters, and much, much more. And you guessed it, visit the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, moving on to the 12th thing to think about, revenue, money, money, money. So what is your business model? How is your blog going to earn revenue? There are many ways to monetize your blog and earn a living with it. You can run ads on your blog with AdSense. You can sell products by implementing e-commerce. You can create sponsored content where companies pay you to write blog posts. You can charge people to be guest bloggers. The list goes on and on. But from my experience, affiliate marketing is the best way to get started and become profitable online. Now, if you're new to the concept, affiliate marketing is a type of performance-based marketing in which a business rewards affiliates, aka you and me, we're affiliates, for each visitor or customer brought by your personal marketing efforts. And this means that companies will give you a cut of their profits if you send them customers. Best of all, with affiliate marketing, you don't need to create a product to sell. You simply recommend relevant products to your audience through affiliate links. Then whenever someone clicks on your affiliate link and makes a purchase, you receive a commission for every sale. Now, depending on the company and the structure of the affiliate program, the payouts will vary. For example, some companies will pay you just for sending them traffic, and some companies will pay you only after a sale is made. But affiliate marketing is by far one of the most popular and potentially lucrative revenue streams when it comes to monetizing a blog or a website. And over the past few years, I've seen my affiliate earnings increase each and every month. The great thing about this revenue stream is that I'm earning thousands of dollars of passive income while I'm away from my computer. I literally earn money while I'm sleeping. I hate saying that because it sounds so cliche, but it's true. Additionally, this strategy can easily be scaled whenever you apply it to different products throughout your promotional campaigns. And if you're interested in learning more about affiliate marketing, I actually created an online training called the Affiliate Blogger Academy, which teaches you everything you need to know in order to start monetizing your blog with affiliate marketing. And once again, visit the link in the show notes to get a sneak peek of that course. All right, moving on to the 13th thing to think about, and that is expenses. So, how much are you willing to invest in your blog? Have you budgeted for web hosting, premium themes, outsourcing, etc.? This is probably one of the hardest things to think about because it deals with spending money. However, you need to look at your blog as an investment that can give you a return on your investment. For example, if you follow my blogging tutorials and start your blog the way that I teach you, you can get started for less than around $100. And here's a quick snapshot of what your investment will look like. First, your Bluehost web hosting, which will be the basic plan of shared hosting, is only $2.95 per month. Next, your constant contact email marketing plan is free for 60 days and then $20 per month after that. Then the theme in the video is free as well as the plugins. However, if you want the premium theme, it's about $30. Then if you monetize your blog the way I teach you in the Affiliate Blogger Academy, you can potentially earn that $100 back and much, much more. Now, this is not to gloat, but my blog was able to generate over $100,000 last year through affiliate marketing alone. So I know that the initial $100 startup cost might seem like a lot to some, but just know that there are ways to earn that back and have your blog pay for itself. Now, in terms of budgeting, I recommend that you set aside at least $500 for your first year of blogging. This should take care of your web hosting, email marketing, and any additional costs associated with your theme and plugins. Now, you probably won't spend all $500, but it will be more than enough of a cushion for that year. Now, if you can't budget for $500 in a year, then you can definitely get started for at least $100. My Bluehost affiliate link can get you web hosting, a domain, an SSL certificate, and domain privacy for around $77 for your first year. Okay, moving on to the 14th thing to think about, security. Do you have the proper safeguards in place in the event that your blog gets hacked? This is another thing that is tough to think about because it implies that something bad could happen to your blog. Well, unfortunately, we live in a world where bad things happen, but luckily there are ways to protect your site and its visitors from hackers. First, I recommend you install a security plugin. Now, if you're on a budget, you can get started with the Titan Anti-Spam plugin. It has a lot of great features that can help boost your blog's security, and it's free. There is also the premium WordFence security plugin that will cost you $39 per year, but it's one of the highest rated security plugins by consumers, and I personally use it on my site, and it has saved me more than once from brute force attacks and bad actors trying to access my site. Another security best practice is to have an SSL certificate for your blog. If you're new to the concept, an SSL basically creates a secure path for information and data to be passed back and forth online. This means that any information like passwords, usernames, credit card info, etc., that is passing between your blog and your visitor's browser, it'll be scrambled and virtually impossible for hackers to access. And if you recall a little earlier in the video, if you use my Bluehost affiliate link, you'll get a free SSL certificate with your purchase for your blog. The next security best practice is to always back up your blog. Having a backup of your site is a blogger's contingency plan for when things go wrong. And if you're blogging and not backing up your content, you're playing with fire, my friend. It's better to be safe than sorry. And backing up your blog's data is one way to make sure that your blog is protected from possible disasters. I personally use Backup Buddy, for all of my WordPress backups. This is a premium WordPress plugin by iThemes, but I can assure you that it's worth the price tag. That is Backup Buddy, not Backup Daddy. It backs up your entire WordPress installation, your database, plugins, everything. Plus, once you back up your blog, your files are stored as a downloadable zip file in the Backup Buddy stash. That's their secure offsite storage destination designed to store WordPress backups. Honestly, this plugin just helps me sleep at night. I love it. Okay, moving on to the 15th and final thing to think about, legal. So, have you thought about how you're going to protect your intellectual property, like copyright, trademark, legal framework, etc.? This is yet another aspect of blogging that's not too much fun to think about, but it's necessary. And first, a quick disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, and the information provided in this video does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, all information, content, and materials available in this video and my blog are for general informational purposes only. If you have any legal concerns regarding your website and compliance, then I highly recommend you reach out to an attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular legal matter. Okay, so with that being said, some ways to legally protect your blog are to have 3 key legal pages on your site. And that is a privacy policy page, a disclaimer, and a terms and conditions. And having these pages can help to comply with laws and protect your blog from lawsuits. And I know this can all sound scary, but it doesn't have to be. I use and recommend a service called TermsFeed, and I use them for all 3 of those legal pages that we just mentioned on my blog with blogwithben.com, and they really take the guesswork out of all the legal jargon and give you peace of mind when it comes to the content that needs to be on your site. TermsFeed, it's basically a website where you can plug in some specifics about your site and your blog's content, and then they'll draft a legal document for you that you can then add to your blog. And I'll put a link to them in the show notes, but highly recommend that you check them out if you don't know where to start with legal docs. Another thing to remember is to use original content and copyright-free photos whenever you're writing blog posts. You may be tempted to borrow an image from a quick Google search, but those may be copywritten and you can get into some legal hot water if you're caught. So that's why I use and recommend copyright-free photos from either a paid source like Shutterstock or free stock photos from like pixels.com. However, when using stock photos, be sure to read the fine print to see if you have to credit the photographer. Finally, you always have the option to hire an actual business lawyer to take a look at your site and draft the legal copy for you. Now, this will probably be the most expensive option, but will more than likely be a surefire way to make sure that you're complying with all of the laws. So there you have it, the 15 things to think about before starting a blog. Hopefully you stuck around and you learned something new and you're better prepared to launch your blog to the world. So don't forget to check out the resources document in the show notes below this video to review everything that was recommended in this video. And again, I hope you found this video helpful and wish you nothing but continued success with your new blog. So that's going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. As always, your support means a great deal to me and my family, and for that, I thank you. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.